All right, notes 9.3, quartiles and IQR. So we've already talked about the four measures of central tendency, which was the mean, median, mode, and range. Today, we're going to talk about part of something called the 5-number summary in statistics because it relates, okay? So just like before, we have to put our data in order, right? We got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know what I'm saying? 1 through 4 is our measures of central tendency, the mean, which is you take the total and divide it by how many, and another name for the mean is called the average. Then we got the median, which is the middle number, okay? If you got an odd set of numbers, then there's one middle. If you got an even set of numbers, then you have to find the average of the two middles. Then we got the mode, okay, which is the number we see the most. You can have 0 modes, you can have 1 mode, or you can have a few modes. Then we got the range, which is the difference between the smallest and largest data points. So basically, you do the biggest number minus the smallest number to find the range. All right, the new stuff is 5, 6, 7. That's part of the 5-number summary here, okay? So quartile 1, which kind of sounds like a quarter, is the median of the first half of data. So it does the same thing. See how I have this little note here? It's like the median, right? But you look at your first half of your numbers so that you can't find quartile 1, Q1. I can't say quartile, so we're going to call it Q1. You can't find Q1 until you have figured out your median. After that, you can figure out Q1. Q3 is the same thing, except it's the second half of data. It's the right side, okay? And again, you cannot figure out Q3 until you have figured out your median or where your middle number is, all right? And it follows the same rules as the median. If there's an odd number in the first half, then there is one middle. If there's an even number in the first half, then you find the average of the two, okay? So it follows the same rules, okay, as this guy, okay? And then the interquartile range, oh gosh, the IQR, we're going to call it the IQR because I can't say that word, is the range between Q1 and Q3. So just like the range, except you're going to take Q3 minus Q1. So this guy is like this guy. These two guys are like this guy, okay? So let's just jump into it. All right, so I have a dot plot here, and to save time on my video, I've already put my numbers in order. There's 2 4s, a 5, 2 6s, 2 7s, okay? Now, let's figure out our mean. So I started with pink. So when I add all these numbers up in my calculator, and double check me, but you should get 39. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers, so I'm going to divide by 7. But this gives me a stupid number that is a little big. All right, it gives me, what does it give me? It gives me 5.571. And then after that, I don't care because I'm looking at the third decimal to figure out how I round my second decimal. And since 1 is 4 or less, I'm going to do 5.57 is my mean. I only want to see 2 decimal places. Do not give me more than that. I will be upset. All right, the median. All right, the median is going to be an orange for me. I'm doing rainbow colors. So the median is the middle number. Well, we have an odd number of numbers. So we have 7. So the one in the middle is going to be this 6 right here. How do I know it's the middle? It's got 3 on the left side, and it's got 3 on the right side. So my median is 6. Let me move this out of the way. I don't know why I put it there. Okay. That's it. That's the median. No special hootenanny, no nothing. The mode this time is what we see happening the most. So we see 2 4s, we see 2 6s, and we have 2 7s. So we got several modes. We got 4, we got 6, and we got 7. So there are 3 modes, because again, you can have 0 modes, 1 mode, or many modes, and this time we have many. Next up, we got the range. So I think I have green up next. So the range is my biggest number minus my smallest number, so 7 minus 4. So my range here is a 3. All right, next we have quartile 1. So let me get rid of all of these little marks here. And you don't have to get rid of them, yours. So I still know my middle, and let me label that as my middle. So I know this is my median, or my middle, however you want to call it. So now, quartile 1, you guys ready for this? I'm excited. This is like fun stuff for me. Quartile 1 is looking at this first set of data. This is where quartile 1's happening. We have already used this 6 I have circled in orange. So I'm looking at these 3, 4. I'm looking at 4, 4, and 5. The middle here is that 4. So that's my Q1, right? I already used up that orange 6 that's circled. So we're done. Okay, so that's how you find the first quartile. Now we're going to look at the second quartile. So we're looking at the second half of data. We've already, again, still used that orange 6 up, so we can leave it alone. It doesn't exist now. So we're looking at 6, 7, and 7. Well, the middle number of those guys is this 7. So this is going to be your quartile 3. So 7 for our quartile 3. All right. Okay. That's quartile 1 and quartile 3 when it's all nice and nice like this. IQR, that's the interquartile range. So that means we're taking Q3 minus Q1, where our Q3 was a 7 minus our quartile 3, which was a 4, and that gives us an answer of 3. That's our IQR. Because again, our I can't even say it. Q3, IQR is Q3 minus Q1. My goodness. Let's try. Let's just move on from that word. Here we are. So the average homework night turned in. So you can go ahead and pause. I put this in order for the sake of time. So what we're going to do, again, let's just start with the mean. So we need to add all these numbers up. And you can check me, but I'm pretty sure it's 143 divided by, and then we have 15 numbers, so I'm going to divide this by 15. When I do that, once again, ugly decimal, 9.533. Well, that decimal's not ugly. It's just stupid big. This 3 in the back tells us we can round to keep that 3 in front of it a 3. So we got 9.53 for when we round. If you want more rounding practice, let me know. All right, the median. So in this one, we have an odd number of numbers again. So bonus, we got an odd number of numbers. How do you know that, Ms. Rolfe? Because we know that there's 15 numbers. So you can kick it old school. Let's do it old school. I'm going to work my way towards the middle, finding pairs at the ends until I get to find the one that is right smack dab in the middle. All right, so this last 7 in our little list here in order is the last one in the middle. It's got 7 numbers on the left side and 7 numbers on the right side. So it is most definitely our middle number. It is our median. So I'm going to put 7 for our median. Okay, the next thing we got is the mode. So let me get rid of my little dashes here. You can keep yours if you like. That's up to you. The mode is which number do we have the most of? So in this case, the number we have a most of, it looks like is 7 again. So the most we have is 7, right? We got 3, well, let me just write this. Because we have 3 7s, that's why, right? If you want to look here, this is the most, that's the most. Even though we got 2 10s, that's not the most. The most is 3 7s. Okay, range. All right, so the range, biggest number minus smallest number. Our biggest number is 22 minus our smallest number 2. So that gives us 20. Hopefully you did that without a calculator. All right, now we're looking for Q3. That word I cannot say. So Q3 is the first half of our data. Now that 7 circled in orange has been used up. We do not care about it anymore because it is smack dab the one in the middle. So I am looking at these numbers right here. 2, 3, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7. Do we have a number smack in the middle, or are we going to have to find the average of 2? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we got 7 numbers, which means there is a single number right smack in the middle. And that single number right smack in the middle is that first 6. That is our Q1. Miss Rawolf, how do you know that's the smack dab in the middle of our first half of data? Well, because I got 1, 2, 3 numbers in front of it, and then I got 1, 2, 3 numbers behind it before I hit my median. So that means my 6 is my Q1. Sorry if I'm extra loud. I'm by myself in my room. Next up we have, well, what's after blue? Purple. And we're looking at this half of data. Also, we already know has 7 numbers. So we're looking for that number right smack in the middle to figure out our Q3. So we're looking between 8, 10, 10, 12, 15, 19, 22. Well, this 12 is right smack in the middle of that second half of data. How do I know? Well, let me show you. From my median till I get to that 12, there's 1, 2, 3 numbers, and then there's 1, 2, 3 after that. Because it's got the same on the left side and the right side, that means it is our number in the middle. So this is, 12. Okay. My IQR, okay, is the range for Q3 and Q1. So I have to do Q3's number minus Q1's number, which means we're going to have to do 12 minus 6, which is 6. And there we are. Look at this beautiful rainbow. Isn't this perfection? All right. Next up, example 3, we're talking about Tinley. Oh my, wrong school. We are talking about Thornton Township High School juniors grade point average. So this juniors got 3 A's, 4 B's, 5 C's, 2 D's, and 3 F's. But we're putting this in numerical order. And got to be cautious, right? See how F's are worth 0 points? So we're going to start with those F's. There were 3 F's. Because remember, frequency means how many? Right? So this student has 3 F's, so I got 3 zeros. They have 2 D's, which is worth 1 point, so I got 2 1s. They got 5 C's, so I wrote 5 2s. They got 4 B's, so I wrote out 4 3s. They had 3 A's, so I wrote out 3 4s. What? Ms. Rawolf, this is how you calculate your grade point average. Okay? I see you. All right. So let's add this up. When we do, and check me, but I'm pretty sure this gives us a 36. And there are 17 numbers here, so I'm going to take 36 and divide it by 17. When I do that, I get 2.117. I'm going to start at that third decimal place because I'm trying to round to the second decimal place. I ain't trying to give you or give me or give anybody more than that. This 7 is 5 or more, so I'm going to go up. So my mean is going to be a 2.12. All right? Just so you know, that means out of all these grades, yes, they have 4 B's and 3 A's, but their grade point average is a C because C's are worth 2 points, and we have a mean of 2.12. Yeah, F's bring you down, people. F's bring you down. All right. Looking at our median. So let's see, we got an odd number of numbers here. So I'm trying to find the middle. So I'm going to work my way in, looking at the sides until I get to a set where I don't have a partner All right, so this 2 is my middle. Double check. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on that side. So this is my super middle. This is the median. All right, I'm going to get erase all my dash lines. I know a lot of you guys don't need to do that, but if you do, please do. You know. All right, mode is the number we see the most. Well, the number we saw the most here is 2s. That was the only one that had 5. Even though we had 4 3s, 5 is more than 4. So that is why we have to use 2 as our mode. Next up, we figure out the range. So our biggest number was 4 minus our smallest number was 0. So that means my range is a big old beautiful 4. All right, Q1. So let's look at this guy. We are looking at the first half of data, and since the median is a right smack in the middle number, that means I do not use it. I just look at everything in front of that median. And we have, how many do we have here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there's 8 of these. So my Q1 is going to have 2 middles. Okay, so I'm thinking about this. There's 8 numbers here. So that means I'm looking for the 2 in the middle, and half of 8 is 4. So this is the middle. We're going to be using these for our Q1. Just like we did with the medians before. I'm going to do 1 plus 1, which gives us 2. And then Miss Rawolf, remember, you divide by a 2 because we're trying to find the average of these 2 numbers. That's where this 2 comes from. And when I do this math, it's just so great. 2 divided by 2, y'all. Don't you dare say 0. It's a 1. All right, looking at Q3 here. So we're looking on the right side of our median for our Q3. And again, we're looking for the middle 2 because it is even because we still have 8. And the middle 2 in this case are nice again, right? This is the middle 2. How do I know that? Well, look, I got 1, 2, 3, and then I got 1, 2, 3. I got 1, 2, 3, remember? And then 1, 2, 3 from earlier, okay? Middle 2. So this is where my Q3 is happening. So just like before, I do 3 plus 3, which gives me 6. And then I take 6 and divide it by 2, and I get 3 for my answer. Now, hold on, wait a minute. It is not always going to match up like this. See how there's 2 3s? And yeah, it's not always going to be like that. But you still got to show your work. That way, if you done mess up, we can see why you messed up. If you just give me a willy-nilly answer, I'm not going to understand why. Okay, next up we have the IQR, which is the range for Q3 and Q1. So you got to do your Q3 minus your Q1. Our Q3 was a, hey, that's funny. Our Q3 was a 3 minus our Q1, which was a 1. Get it? It's funny. Which gives me a range of 2. All right. Number 4, everything's already in order this time, but just be careful. We are not counting by 1s in this number line. We are counting by 5s. And trust me, I messed this up when I was writing it out, so don't feel bad if you did too. All right, so we're going to total up our list of numbers. And remember, this is a video, so pause it if you need to write out and put it in order. You need to put it in order. You need to put it in order to find the median, to find the mode. It's easier to figure out your range. It's the only way to figure out your Q1, your Q3, and your IQR. So put your numbers in order. All right, so we have 650 for our total. Check me, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Divided by 10, and boy howdy, you best believe that gives me a nice number. Look at that. All right, Next up, we're trying to find the median. So this time, we have an even number of numbers. Okay? So that means I have to find the middle two. Well, if I draw a line right here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the left side, and then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the right side. That's okay. That's good. That's what we want. This means that these are my middle two, 65 and 70. So let's figure this out. So 65 plus 70 gives us a number that is 135. I have to divide 135 by 2. And when I do that, this gives me a median of 67.5. So that is my middle number. This is my median. That's 67.5. And again, you're always, if you're finding the average of a median, a Q1 or a Q3, the only ever-loving number you are going to divide by is, oh my gosh, is 2. Let's get rid of that. That's the only number. You will not divide by 3. You will not divide by 15. You will not divide by 100 million. Whenever you're figuring out an even number, set of numbers, the median, you will only ever divide by 2. Same with Q1, same with Q3. All right. So we know the median is 67.5. This is tough stuff, okay? Now, here's where it gets a little hinky. We didn't have a straight up one number as our middle. We had to figure it out, right? We had to do this stuff. That's going to be important for later. Let's talk about mode. Our mode in this one is 70 because we see the mode 3 times. We see that 73 times. It's the only one that we see 3 times. And I'm going to erase this. Our range is the biggest number, 80, minus the smallest number, 50, which gives us 30. Hopefully you could do that in your head. Q1. All right. So what I was emphasizing before, we figured out the median. We were not given it like how we were in the prior example. See how our median was a straight up in our list versus this one where we had to figure it out on our own? So that means we didn't circle anything. So when we figure out our Q1, we are going to use all of these numbers to the left of that orange line. Even though I understand, I know, I recognize, I know we used that 65. I do. But it is not our median. It is not our median. It is not our median. We used it like a bad person. We used it to figure out our median. But it is not our median. Okay. So, here in Q1, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers in our first half of data. That's odd. That means life is hunky-dory. We got a nice right smack in the middle Q1 of 55. Nice. All right. Sorry, I was looking at this to make sure I did one. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Now let's look at our Q3. Again, we are looking at all 5 of these numbers to the right of our orange line. Yes, I know we used this 70 to figure out our median, but it is not the median, okay? We used it, but it is not the actual median. What we averaged out, that 67.5, that's our median. So we still use that 70 in order to help us figure out our Q3. So let's look at this. We have 5 numbers. This 70 right here is right smack in the middle of our second half of data. How do I know that? Well, there's 2 on the left side of it, and then there's 2 numbers on the right side of it. So we're good. So that's 70. And then lastly, our IQR is going to be Q3 minus Q1. And our Q3 this time was 70 minus our Q1 is 55. So that gives us a beautiful number of 15. If you need to re-watch this problem, example 4, and I would say example 3, please do. These are the toughest. Those first 2, those are nice ones just to get you ready and into Q1, Q3. But these 2 are where it gets a little bit tough. All right, so you have 3 homework problems. And that's all you got to do. Don't forget to put your numbers in order first. Good luck.